Okay. So in the past, handful of lessons, we've kind of gotten away from so much of learning HTML and CSS in the sense that we're, building the website and we're styling it and all that stuff. And we've got into more of the nitty gritty part of building websites. And you may think, well, Ryan, why are we learning this stuff? Well, this stuff matters. Okay. When you're building a site, you don't want to, take all this time to build this beautiful site and then no one has access to it. And what I mean by that is you don't want to take all this time building this beautiful site and then when people go to share your page, it looks like this. Or if people search, something in terms of what you're writing about and it doesn't show up in search engines. So, social media meta tags are really important because you want to control the look and feel of shares on your site. Like this, our Facebook shares looking like this is not acceptable. It doesn't look good. It doesn't tell us any about the site, and we want to control it and make sure that it's optimized for sharing because then in return, if it's optimized for sharing, people are more likely to share it, and the more shares you have, the more links you have back to your site increases your ranking on search engines. So it also gets into search engine optimization. So it's important to take the time to go into this, um, you know, stuff that isn't as fun. Well, at least for some, I think it's kind of cool because it's math related, but it's something you need to know when you're making sites because you want to optimize them for sharing for competition on the web these days, and you want the greatest exposure that's possible for your site. So what we're going to go into now is we're going to start going into, and we're not going to go too deep into it, but we're definitely going to cover the basics and the building blocks of social media meta tags. So first off, we have Facebook meta tags. And if we go look at our code, you've already been introduced to some meta tags before. So we have it built into Bootstrap. We haven't talked about it yet, but meta name and description here, meta name author there. And then the one we've been introduced to is title. Okay, so we're going to add in some Facebook meta tags in this lesson, and it's pretty similar in structure, each one. Okay, so meta property equals OG title. And this OG is not for the real OG, but it's for Open Graph. So Facebook has this Open Graph technology, and that's what that OG stands for. So what we're doing is we're naming, giving a value to the title when someone goes and shares our certain page on Facebook. So we're going to say OG title content blog sample blog post. All right, so we have that one. That's the title. And I'm going to give you a couple more here. We're going to do type, URL, image, and description. So type, and what this is just, the type of page it is. So for us, it's article because it's a blog post, so it's an article. Then we have URL here. And what we're going to do is just grab this URL and we're going to put it right in there. And then we have image, and you're going to give the source to the image. So what we are going to is we want this image to be shared. So we want to copy the image URL. We want to put that right there. And then the final one is description. And so this is, the description of what this page is. So, you can put whatever you want here pertaining to the page that's being shared. We'll say this is a sample post of the blog template we have been designing. Obviously, that's not going to be a description of a blog post, but that's what the description of this page is. So let's see. I don't know if this will update instantly because these Facebook crawlers don't always crawl the site instantly, but let's see. No. And that's okay because we can tell Facebook to crawl our site. And what it's called is the Facebook URL linter. So go up here and search Facebook URL, and it's completing it for me. Linter. And we'll click on the top link here, URL linter, and go here and grab your URL of your Dropbox site or whatever site you're working on and paste it in, and then push debug. All right, scrape information, don't have to worry about that as much. Open graph warnings that should be fixed. Meta with name instead of property. The meta tag on the page was specified with name, author, blah, 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 will be ignored unless specified with the meta property attribute instead of the meta name. Basically, short and sweet, we don't need this. So you can go ahead and delete meta name, author, right there, save it, and then everything else is exactly what we just put in and told Facebook. So we put in the OG URL. You see it right here. We put in the type, which is article. We put in the title, the image, the description, and the updated time. And you can see the share preview is different than what it was before. Remember, it was ugly, had a bunch of like Latin that it probably grabbed from our article, you know, down here, yep. And it also had that Facebook PNG image instead of the image that we were using as our first image. So you've named all this correctly, so we're good to go. And now you should look, if you click on Facebook, it should come up correctly. Beautiful. So you put in that image, you gave it that title, you gave it that URL, and you gave it that description. Awesome. Now your page is optimized for Facebook sharing. And now let's move on to give it some SEO optimization so that search engines can recognize it properly.